Welcome back to another episode of Fit for Life Radio. I'm your host, Gary Diegel, here with your co-captain hosts, Ben and Will. Co-captain hosts. We were just we're trying to gather ourselves from a good laugh of Ben's throwback disc golf tournament victory. Was it a victory?
It was a victory. It was.
So if y'all,
you need to go watch the video.
Yeah, on Facebook. Just shared it up there. It's goofy. It's goofy.
It's good.
From years ago.
Sometimes you got to bring those back.
Yeah.
And did they do a little post-game interview? Were you more like NASCAR-like or football-like? Were you like, man, I'll tell you what that thing...
Well,
this the
frisbees were flying great.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was totally like... But I mean, just not ready for it. You could tell in the interview I was like...
Oh, yeah.
Or were you more NFL? Like, just first off, I got to thank God.
I'm sure there was a little bit of football there. I didn't watch that whole thing, but... there was, in the first, and it went behind in some trees here, in the thicket here, and then, I squared up to my putt. Yeah, telling the story like you didn't get to see, you don't get to see it, but
oh man,
it was really thick snow too. That we played in some nasty weather. That was pretty interesting to see.
Those Florida frisbee golf boys don't know you, Michigan.
They couldn't hang. They couldn't hang. There's no way. There's no way they
could. You hang in that hot, sticky, humid Florida weather?
It changes it, but it's a lot easier to go like warmer than it is to go colder because the frisbee literally becomes like hard as a rock. You have to pack different type of towel and it's a whole different ball game.
Damn. What if you had to play in like 110 degree heat?
The frisbee becomes super floppy. It starts turning over more, so you just have to. But again,
have you ever played 110?
Yeah.
Where your frisbees melted?
I mean, not 110 probably.
I'm talking like Arizona, Death Valley.
No.
Let's go.
I did play. We used to play in Florida actually, and it was way different though. It was way different. Yeah. Your frisbee will break on a tree too. Like that's why it's called the Cracked Plastic Classic. Because what happens is that there's so many trees on that course, and frisbees break all the time. Yeah.
I'd be pissed if my frisbee broke.
Yeah. Or it gets lost out on the ice, and you're like, I've had that frisbee for 5 years. Do I go get it out on the ice or not? And
do I want to fall through today?
I mean, some people go crazy. Exactly.
You mean sponsors don't pay for your frisbees?
If you get sponsors, you can get sponsors. Yeah. I didn't have a frisbee sponsor. I had a bag sponsor, but I went through one bag.
You should have gone through as many bags as you could.
I
you should have pushed that.
Handed them out and stuff. Yeah.
Sell them under the table. Oh damn! Someone took my bag. I need a new one.
It was. Yeah. It would have been that easy.
Could have been running a racket.
So Ben, I'm gonna ask you this because Will's been at the gym the most and cutting those mats, so he's probably starting to hate it a little bit or despise it. So how does the new gym feel when you walk in? And is it more grand?
It's sophisticated. I mean, really, that's the word I'd use for it. It's just. In our old gym it's got a great feel to it. It's rustic almost to the way.
Rustic.
Yeah. But this one is just, it's super, super clean, super professional, but in a comfortable way. It's really, the way we painted it, the way we set it up is making it very comfortable. But it's just, very sophisticated. A step up matches kind of our aura. A little bit better.
So, okay, let me ask you this. If you had to take each gym out to dinner, what would the old gym be, and then what would the new gym be?
Jeez. Well, okay, you might have to help me out with the new gym because I want to take it somewhere nice, somewhere maybe a little bit out of my price range. But the old
Outback Steakhouse.
No. No, but
take the old gym to Chili's, the new
Viking Burger. That's where you're going.
Oh,
you're taking the old gym to Viking Burger.
I mean, it's still
it's a good.
Everybody loves it.
Of course,
it's
You're not gonna not enjoy the burger you eat, but you're still you're still looking over your shoulder. Hopefully, I lock the car in the parking lot, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But new place. TGI Fridays.
Oh God.
No. I don't know. Yeah, there's somewhere nice, somewhere nicer.
Sometimes I wonder how we even signed up new members. Like that, you know, like
Check
you
out
have
this corner spot. Yeah.
you have a strategy session come in, and there's a popping off class going on, job rules blaring, and you're like talking to the
screaming at somebody,
sitting on the bench, and you have to talk to them like you're at the club. Like, hey, what's your goals?
Yeah.
You know what though? Like it just sets him up.
Then Dwayne's right there doing med ball slams, you know, with
his compressions, his white compressions.
And finally the song's over, and then I'm struggling with IBS.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Sorry. Everyone just heard that.
That always happens, man. It's always the worst moment when the song changes. And then, yeah. Oh, God. Oh, but you know what?
It's charm.
Part of it.
Moving
part
on.
of the appeal.
Moving on.
Memories.
Now we won't have to do that, but it was kind of nice. You know?
Some of those.
The turf. I think the good stretch of turf is going to be the best, though. Like,
oh yeah,
you
say that, and everyone's like not looking forward to twice the length of turf.
Yeah, and we got to wear it down too. I'm sure. I don't know how
slick
well
it is.
Slide.
Yeah. You have to do a lot of sled pushes.
Yeah,
on it.
ton of sled pushing.
Kind of like what's it called when you got to like prep something, get it ready? Kind of like a what do you call it? A cast iron skillet.
You got to season it.
Got to season it.
Yep. Or like a baseball glove. You got to break it in.
Break it in. Run the car over it a few times.
Yeah.
throw it in the washing machine, whatever. Let it tumble.
Maybe we'll have somebody bring in their crotch rocket and just do some laps.
Yeah, do some burnouts on it.
That'll
work.
All right. Well, the gym, the environment of the gym is going to hopefully be better. Speaking of environments, today we want to talk about everyone's individual environment and how environments trigger behaviors. I think this is something that's we've maybe touched on a little bit before, but I would even argue ultimately it's going to be the deciding factor for most people.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you know, you have an environment that's like basically like Cheetos at your house, Cheetos at work, no one does anything active, that's what you're going to resort to, you know. And then when you change and start acting differently, if you don't change your environments or kind of create new ones to support what you're trying to do, you're going to kind of fall back. It's nothing wrong, like any of us would do that, you know. Yep. It's just a hard thing to fight against.
True.
So like I think a good example is, because it's harder for me since I started working as a trainer when I was 20. So a big part of my environment's been at a gym. But for Ben, you know, Ben's been working at the gym for a little over 2 years. Yeah. And before that, you'd really, besides disc golf, you didn't have too much fitness or food or anything, you know. You want to talk about that, maybe how kind of your transition from finding an environment like Coastal, so like a gym and a group of people who, you know, to have that outlet every day. So it kind of becomes like a workplace you go to every day, but a more supportive environment for your health and fitness.
Yeah, we just kind of, as we were walking down memory lane, just remembering Michigan, remembering being up there, and it's just a very different, it's a different environment in the way that it's concerned with almost survival and like gritty hard work, but not anything like self-care or actually improving on the quality of life. Really, it's just, it's another year, like, it's another winter, another 6 months, like, let's just buckle down again and get through it. So you eat whatever you have to eat. You kind of, your only activities like shoveling snow, but really just not any type of no emphasis on actually like what is the quality of living here, what's the quality of my health, what's the quality of even things like movement and exercise, like it's secondary to that survival instinct up there. So you know, being up there, living in that environment for long enough, and you just, things like that go to the wayside. What I chose to eat was irrelevant. It's really just like, did it taste good, or did I have enough money for it? Did I, even, you know, I mean, really just irrelevant that it actually has an impact on my long term and how, like, my growth as a person and where I'm going to be in 5-10 years. It's just never been. It was never really a thought up there. I mean, even from, all age groups, all, people that I knew, people that I worked with, like in my office environment, when I was an accountant, it really spanned the whole the whole state. It felt like.
Yeah, and then maybe touch on how. So say you started coming to an environment like Coastal, as a member, and there's people, obviously like fitness is on the forefront and nutrition, and you start working out, you want to eat healthier, and then that kind of forces you and bleeds into changing your other environments, right? Like for probably your house, right? So right. I'm sure even you just thinking back now to like what was the environment of your house set up for before going to the gym versus now and after, it's probably a completely different environment, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. So like emphasis on the like TV gaming system, like entertain myself at the house. Kitchen. I hardly went in there. Like unless I'm grabbing like a bag of chips or some Oreos or something. Like I'm not in there. I'm probably figuring out like what game am I gonna play or what TV show am I gonna watch. Hey, you know what I'm gonna spend my money on? Speakers, because I want to hear this game louder or whatever. How am I gonna arrange my living room? What am I gonna? It's around that. But I would like to touch on coming into the gym and going there as a client. Everybody just seemed, not only concerned about like themselves and how they were doing, but like other people, the overall like positivity, optimism, outlook on life. Those were the things that were really standing out. And I think that those types of like the positivity, the actual anticipation of like things are coming that are good, or if I put the work in now, I'm going to end up better. Those attitudes were always underlying, and that's, you could say, okay, well, you're at a gym, you're going to have this fitness mindset. Okay, yeah, everyone had that. Yeah, we all want bigger muscles, or we all want to lose weight, but those underliers, and I don't know if it's a hand-in-hand thing or what, whatever you guys think about that, but those were the big impacts that have kind of eventually bled into, I think, in any environment, I'm going to hold to, like, I'm actually going to think about what happens next. And I'm going to actually think about, like, if I do this, what are the effects on it later? And actually, bode well for positivity as opposed to just kind of, just getting through. But yeah, as far as the house goes too, all of a sudden the kitchen becomes a lot more important. You spend more time in there, actually cleaning, prepping. You got to know where things are. You got to know if your chicken is thawed or not, for instance. That's a huge thing, and so it shifts. And as far as like chips and Oreos, if I leave those in my house, like there's one thing that's going to happen to those, and they're going to get devoured. They go probably pretty quick.
Yep.
Well, all three of us, we're very in shape. We're very like health conscious in that way. But you put that stuff in our environment, in our bubble, it's going down. I know that. I can speak for all three of us on that. There's no,
for sure.
There's no real like, I don't know. A lot of people feel really bad about that. They feel like they're weak or something because their environment controls them. But we're all in that boat.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of people get kind of not trapped, but they get set up in that, especially people like when you're single. I think it's a lot easier. You control literally everything, but once you have a family and you have kids, and there's a lot more factors externally, like your husband or wife keeps freaking gummy bears in the house and chocolate and all this stuff, and no matter what you do, they won't take it out of the house, and they always have it. That's like your environment affecting you negatively, or you keep like a ton of snacks in the house for the kids and you find yourself munching on them. Those are the kind of things where like your environment has set up your habit to eat those crappy foods because they're there, and it happens for everybody. no matter what. Like if there was donuts on my counter right now, I'd be eating a donut while we're doing the podcast.
I'd probably try to sneak one.
Like if there was a dozen, I probably would have had 2 already. Like that, and so that's why like we don't keep donuts at the house. You know, we really we have like one of the most bare bones kitchens in the world, which is great. Like we literally buy what we need every week. But yeah, like that. If you keep that stuff in the house, then you are so much more likely to eat it. So a better solution is just don't put it in your house. Buy just what you need. You don't have to stock up for the apocalypse or anything crazy like that. Like just have your weekly stuff that you eat, and that's it. And then when you want something good, like go out to eat and tie it to an experience with your friends.
Yeah, that reminds me, one of our clients, she, going back and forth on our Coach Catalyst app, she mentioned how she kind of told herself, you know, to say no to those things at the grocery store. And when you do that, you only have to say no once, right? If they come in your house, then you're going to have those internal battles and have to say no a lot more times, which we eventually
time you walk by.
Exactly, and eventually, like, you're gonna say yes, you know. So
yeah, no, that's human nature, I think.
Yeah.
Over time, it does seem that, you know, put yourself in the environment of you know, just I guess not having to say no, or I mean, I guess the best example would be you come to Coastal for a while. And you see all these people who are really optimistic about life, about their bodies, about where we're all going, I guess, as a culture. It becomes a little bit easier if you are put in a different environment to kind of hold true and remember kind of what Coastal kind of sticks with you. And I've heard that enough to believe it to be true. Mm-hmm. Like where you're in a situation. Oh, there was a lady who went on a cruise the other about a month ago or something. And she's looking up at this thing that there is to climb up in this cruise. And all of her friends were telling her, that's dumb. No, why would you do that? We're all drinking. Like, we're having a good time. Like, the environment is, like, basically sit around and, you know, enjoy yourself, relax, right? This calling inside of her was just like, I think I want to do that. I'm capable of doing that. It's really nothing, pressure, but just more of a call to do it. And the coastal environment, the stuff we talk about, her capability, like it won out. And she went up, she climbed it, she felt just so accomplished, so amazed. I mean, a year ago she wouldn't have been able to do that kind of thing. And she didn't need her friends to kind of bring it with her. I'm not saying that's you know where you need to be, you need to leave, you know, your people behind or something. But what I'm trying to say is that it becomes easier the longer you are in that environment, the more you buy into the fact that, you know, yes, I'm doing this at first maybe just because it's all here, but eventually it becomes deep, it becomes ingrained. And that I want to explore my capability, I think, is the underlier, the thing that is carrying with her, so that when she sees like an opportunity like that, she can do it, and she gets that feeling of accomplishment and that reminder that she's a fit person, that she's a strong person, and you know, despite what her environment told her.
Yeah, and I think then what happens then is what people don't see themselves as or realize they can become is you become a leader and can change environments. You know, like for example, and Will might be able to talk about this, especially in Whitney's case, you know, working at, you know, Ferguson like she does. Same with Alexis. She's a teacher, my wife, and she, you know, when we were in Virginia and then in California, so different schools, you know, she takes her little lunch to school every day, eats kind of the same thing. And at first people make little, you know, jokes or whatever. But eventually people start asking questions. And then eventually some of her coworkers start packing their own lunch and bringing their own lunch, and then that becomes the norm, you know. And then all of a sudden, you've changed your environment, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's, you know, really the only way I think, as a nation, that things will kind of change is ultimately everyone believing like they can be a leader and a coach and that kind of person that, you know, they think they're not.
What does it take, you think?
I think it takes one client, one person at a time, like changing them, you know, and just like getting true belief in people. Like people have to be, and this is why like I hate, you know, the Planet Fitnesses of the world, because I mean, it's great. It's a gym. People are going to do stuff active. But ultimately, like, to them, like, you're just a number. You know, you're not a person. Like,
if you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop, mixed in water, once a day, and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
people aren't really going to change, you know. Now, if you need like a $10 membership and you're already into fitness, it actually works great, right? Like, but for people who really need to change and that don't believe in themselves, like, you're not going to get what you need, right? So,
which is like the overwhelming majority of the whole country, probably the whole world, really.
Yeah.
Like our obesity rate's so high right now. Like, it's the highest it's ever been.
It just came out. It's like still climbing, you know.
Dude, it's like, yeah, and then like type 2 diabetes is at an all-time high. Like I think it's I want to say it's 2/3 of the country is either type 2 or pre-diabetic, something like that. This is like a wild statistic that I didn't believe at first, but like that just shows that like more people out there are like not the into fitness. I just need a $10 membership to get my workout on type people, you know, like they need help. They need an environment that's going to help kind of breed the success and the change they need. Because clearly, like, the environment most people are in isn't good. If that's where we're at as a country, you know.
We have more gym memberships than ever before, but more obesity than ever before.
Yup. Yeah. So, like, we're missing the mark somewhere. Yeah. And I say we, like, I feel like as an industry,
yeah. And it's
like
because
we're missing the mark.
Yeah, people need, like, and it takes time to change, you know, like, look at someone like one of our members who inspires a lot of people, Elizabeth Webb, you know, like she didn't start like that. Now people come and they talk about how inspired they are. They see her change. She's always, you know, she'll text people if they don't show up.
Yeah, she definitely turned into like somebody people look up to, people respect, and people like want to be there with her.
Yeah. Because
of like she, you know, how much she changed, like physically, mentally, and just like who she became. Yeah.
So to answer your question, Ben, it's I think the answer is like creating leaders, you know, not creating more fit people. Like, you want to make them fit, but you want to create people that are confident enough to be leaders
and to help other people.
Yeah.
And, you know, and get other people going and like contribute to that positive environment. I think that's the best thing that can happen.
Yeah. I think if you would have extracted like me 6 months into Coastal, put me right back into the same environment that I was up in Michigan, I don't think it would have held. I think I would have enjoyed a little bit bigger bicep and then went right back to
pizza rolls.
Yeah, for real. The hot pockets. You know, just whatever's easiest, whatever's, you know, definitely easy road versus like correct road or hard road or whatever, however you want to look at that. I definitely would have gone back to easy road. I couldn't tell you when the turning point was. There probably was no specific turning point. There was probably the feeling got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I know, you know, now years later, that, you know, no matter where I go, like what environment I'm in, there is some basic principles that are always going to stick with me. That, I mean, will clash, like the environment will clash. If they want to sit around and do nothing, like that's very difficult for me to do. I've embraced that, and so I'll probably need to do something. I don't know when I got to that point or how long it took. It'd be interesting to kind of explore that. Like how long do you think it takes? How long do you need to be? I mean, because you can create a habit in, what do they say, 21 days?
Yeah, but I don't even think that's true either.
If you're doing daily or something.
Yeah.
But what does it take to create a unshakable quality? Yeah. Something that, despite the environment, you can hold on to and say,
I think it's
this
a lot
is
of
who
habits. Like, I think it's a lot of habits built on each other, and then, like, a lot of it's you mold your environment, right, as you go. Like, as your habits get stronger, so does your environment. So you create, like, a whole new, like, life for yourself almost. And then I feel like all of that reinforces where you're at. I don't think it's just like, oh, well, I did this habit for 21 days. I'm a different person. I think it just takes time to build up. And I think there's little tiny habits along the way that a lot of people maybe don't quite see. Because it's not a major thing. Like prepping your meals, like that might be a huge major thing. Or grocery shopping, consistently every week is a major thing. But then there might be some small ones that you never even realize that you do that kind of come along with those that really add to like making you successful. And I think it's just the sum of all of that happening over time, as you slowly change into where your brain is like okay with you like doing all that, because there's always resistance on the inside. Some people go through that like, oh, I was craving donuts or I was craving cake or a Slurpee. And I feel like the longer you do it, the less you get that kind of stuff too. So it's really, you shape everything slowly as you go. No one does a month of, eating well and exercising and, they're just like the king of the world. They do everything right. I feel like it just takes a lot of time. And how much time, I think, depends on the person. Some people it might take 4 years for them to feel comfortable enough to where, like, I'm unshakable. You guys go do your thing when we're out, partying or whatever. I'm going to have like one drink and I won't eat anything. And some people might be able to do that in a year. So I just think it so varies on who you are and how long you've been like that too.
Yeah, I think it definitely takes time. And I almost think too, it is almost a bit of a light bulb, light switch type moment for most people, Yeah. At least in my experience working with clients, they eventually like, it just finally clicks, like that confidence, And a great, I think for people listening, if you listen back to episode 7 of Fit for Life with our guest Madeline, it's called How to Control Your Environment and Live Fit. That's a great one to listen to, and she's someone who's moved around like 3 or 4 times, and it was cool to listen to each time how she created the new environment. Like, oh, she couldn't, eventually had the kids and couldn't find a workout class, so she got certified to do the stroller workout program, and man, like, can you imagine, when everyone gets to that point to where, like Ben was saying, like, you're just so, like, you have it down so good, like, it's no question at that point. So I almost wish we could go back and ask her, like, when that was for her,
If she's home for Christmas,
yeah,
exactly. We can have her on again.
But yeah, so to everyone listening, I would say you really just have to push for the process, and eventually, you'll get that light bulb moment to where you're really confident in what you're doing. So
that moment when that happens too, and I guess it's. Yeah, I think you guys are right. It varies by person, and if it is that moment too, that like being patient, not really trying to force that, because once it does hit it becomes like these choices, on a lot of them that are, I guess, difficult to make. They become a lot easier when that is your, that's who you are no matter what. Doesn't matter what environment you're in. All of a sudden, it's not like, it doesn't even feel like going against the flow anymore. I mean, if your environment is sit around, do nothing, eat garbage, and you're going to try and do the opposite, you are going against the flow. And that is difficult. And that will wear on you. You have to say no to donuts 4 times because you bought them, and you brought them in the house, and you left them out on your counter. Every time it gets more and more difficult. You're going against the flow that much. Eventually, by either changing your environment or just making it more central to who you are, either the flow is changing, meaning you don't have donuts on your counter, or saying no to it's automatic, and all of a sudden it's not such a struggle. It's not such a push. That is what you're looking for over time, is noticing how much easier it does get. That's just diligence. That is just patience, diligence, and it will come.
And I think we touched on it last week, actually, in the podcast with Lindsay, on like the growth mindset and being process driven. Like if you have more of a process driven mind or focus or whatever when it comes to nutrition, then it becomes like saying no in the moment, like not worrying about later today or tomorrow or what I'm gonna do this weekend. It's just like, in this moment, I'm gonna make a good decision because I know I should. And I think that gets a lot easier, because I think your sense of like purpose for why you're doing this gets stronger the more you do it. It becomes part of who you are, and so you're better at saying no and making those good decisions more often, because it is your process. Like the outcome of saying no to whatever donuts or muffins in your office, 6 months from now might be being leaner, and you're making the decision in that moment for later on too. So I think having that growth mindset really helps. If you're fixed and you're just kind of this is what I do, you'll have the donut. It's not a big deal. You don't want to change, then you're going to have that. So I think it kind of goes back to that too.
You, Gary, do you notice any environmental change that was substantial from moving, coast to coast, Virginia to Santa Monica, that would be like worth mentioning?
Yeah, I mean, really, like it's like that's a huge difference, and it's interesting because really, so certain things you would maybe do on the East Coast and the South that would be frowned upon, then you do those out here and it's frowned upon. Like if you like ask for, is this organic or whatever, or is this chicken free range? What farm did it come from? People would look at you sideways, right? If you did that out here, it would be completely normal, right? If in fact, if you didn't ask, people would probably judge you. It's really one extreme to another. So and and sometimes that can get taken too far too. But yeah, the in the West Coast in general is a little more fitness, healthy minded, forward thinking with that stuff.
Do you feel like it's been easier to live your lifestyle because of that, or has it made an impact at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I say easier, like really, like you don't want to be that guy, right? Like where like if you're at a restaurant and you want to ask if they can steam your veggies instead of cook them, because really you don't want rancid vegetable oil. Say you just want an ask at a restaurant, right? Because you don't want them to look at you funny or think they're going to spit in your food or cause. Whereas out here, you would know, like that's a normal everyday, every meal thing, right? Or now they really, it just says it on the menu, that's a perfect example. Is now like it's on the menu, like this is free range, this is where the food came from, this is what we cook your food in. It's just completely different. But in all honesty, like it's all catching on though. When I used to travel out here like 3-4 years ago, I mean, I was blown away, right? And then I'd go back to Virginia, and you just couldn't believe the difference. But now, like, it's slowly, like, there's more restaurants and stuff like that on the East Coast that are popping up. So really, it's catching on. Yeah.
Do you think, actually, I mean, I noticed this, but I'll get your take. Like, the perfect weather out there and just how accessible things are. It seems like that plays into like how active you are. Now you've always walked. Like when you were here, you still walked Arnie pretty routinely, not pretty routinely. But now, like you're like a freaking machine, and you like walk or bike everywhere. And it's like when you're not working or cuddling with your dog, it seems like you're out moving. Like do you feel like Cali made that a lot easier for you? Just like that whole environment is almost set up for being outside and moving more through the city.
It's like not working or cuddling your dog, so like 15 minutes of your day. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, essentially.
Lots of cuddles for Arn.
I'm getting real sad. I'm about to leave him here too. But no, yeah, like that definitely plays into it, and then that creates a different environment, right? To where it's more people on average are like, oh, we go hiking on the weekend, right?
Yep.
Whereas like you look at someone in Michigan to go hiking, right? Since they don't do it half the year.
What is hiking? Like,
you going down to the store when it snows?
Yeah, you might be like skiing, like you're hiking up a mountain so you can ski down it, maybe.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's all about habits, right? So if you don't do that for half the year, it's like then when it's summer, you don't really have that habit,
True.
Whereas
true.
like here with the more mild climate, like you do it all year, it becomes a habit, So yeah, that's definitely a big role. But for me, the biggest lifestyle shift, which is actually probably my favorite thing, it's just very unique, even to where I'm at, like in Los Angeles, is the fact that I don't really have a car and I can walk or use public transportation and get everywhere. So it's like a whole mindset shift to where, like, if I had to do that at home, I would be like, there's no way, right? But eventually when it's the only option and you start to do it, like, it's just the way it is. You don't think twice about it, Like, I'm like, oh, I need to pick up something from the grocery store. I go walk 3 blocks to the grocery store.
Yep.
Or I need to go get this or that. I'll hop on the bike and ride it. So that's like really cool. And I wish it would never happen. But ultimately, you can see why. Like, probably everyone was healthiest like 100 years ago, 80 years ago, when before like transportation and like was super convenient and all this. So, people had to maybe like be a little more active, and it's just a whole different world, So
what you're trying to tell people is that if you want to live the easy, fit life, then you should move to Southern California. And it's a great environment to be in.
It's funny though, but half the city though, it is LA, right? Where like
exactly.
If you commute, and like some people couldn't, like you can't not have a car because and then you're stuck on the highway for 4 hours a day.
If you work in the middle of the city.
Yeah, so it's really like finding pockets, and I think the thing is like you can create that anywhere in a way, So it's like, well, try to work, close to home or something, and you don't have to drive as much, and that gives you more time to go for walks and bike rides. I think that's the biggest thing is like see how much time you spent for me, because you remember when I used to have my old gyms and I had to commute 30 miles every day.
Yep.
Both ways. I mean, I think back to how much time I spent in a car. That was, 3 hours a day in a car.
I've been there. I was there with you.
So, like, you take that out. Literally just sitting in a car. You take that away. Dude, that gives you 2 to 3 more hours to do whatever you want. Now, again, you could sit on the couch and veg out, or that could be time you're going on walks or going to the gym or just doing whatever. So I think about that. Like, I walk to the gym, right? Like, 20 minutes, right?
Yep.
But the gym's only a mile away. So in reality, I could have a gym far away and drive to it in 20 minutes. It takes up the same amount of my time. But can you imagine the difference in 10 years of walking that extra 2 miles a day versus driving it?
Yeah. No, I think that's huge, man.
So, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I thought of that just a good example of kind of like crafting your environment and the way people kind of help each other is how at the gym there's the whole crew, which like Debbie and Lisa at bare minimum, but they always go walk the Nolan Trail, right? Like they kind of crafted that themselves because they want to be outside, and so now they do that and they drag like all kinds of people along with them, and so that like that's a good example of like creating an environment and people want to participate in that, and they kind of they push people to do it, like come outside and do it. But like the two of them really kind of push that, get your movement in type thing. No matter the weather, dude, it could be snowing and they're going to go walk the Nolan with their dogs. Mm-hmm. And Debbie sometimes twice a day. But I don't know if you saw, but she got her knee replaced, so she isn't walking the Nolan right now.
Yeah, I saw. But then
she's going to be a freaking machine though, like
real life Debbitron.
Dude, yeah, she's turning into like the real Debbitron. Once she recovers, bro, she's going to be unstoppable.
She's gonna Be quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
She probably is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But you know what? And that's a perfect way for people listening. Like, that's how you be a leader, and that's how you even just you don't have to change everything, and nothing's gonna be perfect. Like, you can't. Not everyone can come to Santa Monica and where everything's walkable and do all that, right? But it's little things like how Debbie always went to Nolan, and then a couple other people start going. Now 4 or 5 people go.
Yeah.
Little things. Even where Ben, where you live now, you can walk over to City Center. I remember, when I was living there, and we were going to go for drinks. People would meet at my house, and I would walk there. And since I was walking there, everyone else would walk. Like, even though it's just one little, like, 3/4 of a mile walk, that kind of stuff adds up over time. And
It does, man.
And that's your environment. Like, hey, we're the type of person where something's half a mile away, like, we're going to walk. So, it's just little things like that, finding ways to change your environment in small places.
Yep. And they add up. Habits and environment changes all add up.
Speaking of which, we should go to that Boathouse Live place.
We should.
For maybe Saturday for dinner.
I just drove past it. I didn't even know where it was until I drove through City Center and finally saw it.
Yeah.
I guess I've been oblivious to it every time I've driven past on the way to the new gym, but I finally saw where it's at.
Yeah, it's where the Toby Keith used to be.
Yeah, if you would have asked me where Toby Keith was, I would have had no clue. So now I know.
I saw you might be going to a concert there.
I mean, they got Modest Yahoo coming in March. Yeah, I might go to that. That'd be cool.
Nice.
It's nice to have a little venue close by instead of having to go to the Norva or the National, Norfolk or Richmond. You got a little in-between area. Could be cool. We'll hit it up.
All right. So, man, it's already been 40 minutes. Time flies.
Well, by the time this podcast comes out, you'll already be here.
That's true. This is true. And I want to say this before I forget, since we're close to Ben's song of the week.
Ooh,
have y'all seen on Spotify where they have they make the custom mixes, and they have, hold on, I'm pulling it up here, your time capsule.
Let me see.
Yes. I have not.
Time capsule.
I haven't ventured into that.
On Spotify load.
Oh, wait, no. I've seen that one. I'm thinking of the 2017 top hits. Dude, the time capsule is excellent.
I've done the top hits. Where's the time capsule at?
It's amazing.
It should be up
They
there
didn't give me a time capsule made for you.
The daily mixes are amazing.
It's all the way on the right.
Your time capsule. Is it just like everything you listened to over the years?
No. Dude, it will. Maybe it takes into account like your age and stuff. So it will kind of take your listening preference and then songs maybe from when you were growing up and stuff, different periods.
Dude, that is crazy.
And like it nailed it, man. Like
these are all like my middle school and high school songs.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm gonna have to go through that. Maybe I'll jam to that today.
Dude, I was listening to it yesterday and just going, dude, every girlfriend, every like, little school thing, baseball team, pre-gaming, like all that stuff, man. It was. I was like, Spotify gets me. Spotify knows me.
It does. It treats us right.
Right.
The
old, like I'm strolling through now, just reminiscing. You don't even have to listen to the songs. You can just
you can just look at them.
See the word. See the thing. Like the name of that song.
All right, Ben.
Alrighty.
What you got?
It's called "The High Road" by Broken Bells. I haven't heard any of their other stuff. Wouldn't even think it's that good from other stuff I've heard, but this particular song is fantastic. A little more chill than I've been throwing at you guys recently.
Yeah, this is the kind of song you drink a glass of chocolate milk to, Just chill out.
Jeez. You drink chocolate milk to chill out. Oh, man.
They got special kind of chocolate milk in California.
Well, I bet they do.
Special, huh? Kind of special.
I don't know. Some medicinal chocolate milk.
Medicinal. Yeah. Definitely worth the lyrics, too. Got some depth there. Got some heart.
It sounds like older stuff,
It's
how old is
it
that?
is a little bit older. I wish
That sounds familiar.
I'll tell you what.
I think it was on a show. It was on some show, like the intro
really?
song. Yeah, it sounds real familiar.
One of the artists is from. This is really informative, I know, but it's from an older band of some kind.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Take that nugget to the bank.
Oh man.
What was the name of it again?
The High Road, Broken Bells.
Now I gotta know. Now I'm like real curious.
Yeah, honestly,
Because I've
dive
heard
into that. You're definitely gonna see some good stuff. No matter where you search on that guy, lyrics, who that famous guy was.
That one guy who's been in a band before.
It seems like all these singers end up like making like 3 or 4 different bands.
Yeah. This is definitely one of them. He was, I want to say like classic rock, Motley Crue or something like that, and just totally a totally different route.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we'll sign off with that.
Yeah, it's gonna cash out. It's been 44 minutes.
Cash Me Out. That's a song. Is that a song? Is that what the kids are doing?
Nah, Cash Me Outside. That was that one chick.
Cash Me Outside. Some meme.
Cash Me Outside.
Yeah, she was a meme. She's probably got a lot of problems now.
All right. Well,
Could be joking.
hit us up. Don't be afraid to look us up on social media and ask questions, or find Ben on Facebook so you can see his frisbee golf glory days.
And if you're in Newport News, come by the new spot. We'll post up the address and stuff on all the socials so people can know what we're doing. Send out some emails. Yeah, it's going to be dope.
Bad news.
Bad news.
All right. Holla.
Later.